All right, another variant. Since the variants and mutations are happening with the virus, there's a variant of cock and bull also. This is the third wave of our show. Oops, insensitive. I won't say that. I won't say that. I'll quickly, before I bring in the other two, I'll quickly mention that I cut my ear, and this might happen to a lot of men, maybe women as well, because that ear hair in your 40s starts coming out, and it started irritating me, and there's no one to do that. In fact, even the makeup man I meet once a week refuses to touch that area. So I tried it on my own, and it's very, very difficult to do. This is my warning. Amit is nodding, so obviously he's tried it himself. Do not try to cut hair inside the ear with a pair of scissors yourself. It's just not going to happen. I think this is the wrong instrument as well. So let this pain that I've experienced be the pain that I'm taking on society for all the men who will try this stupid thing. Don't do it. Let the hair grow. There's nothing wrong in looking like a gorilla. You're in lockdown. I think people can understand. All right. Just to mention quickly that we're recording this because I'm off on a peace mission, trying to bring peace to different parts of the world, mainly 2 kilometers from Malabar Hill. And so weren't able to do this in person. So we had to do this slightly beforehand. So our news, as usual, will be 6 to 8 days old, even though it's only one day before the show. Uh,
That's not new, right? That's almost always the case anyway.
what about me? I'm for 15 years doing a bloody show on television, which is supposed to be a news show, and every time we put it on air about 24 hours before, you know, when we turn on the TV, something else has happened, and our show is so redundant. I, I,
Yeah.
I call up my friend Kunal and say, "What do we do? What can we do?" Somebody gets shot, or huge election, the thing happens, controversy, or somebody gets scam gets unearthed. Oh God, it's so unfair. They should always give us dates and times before they do anything. Really, if you're on the
So
media,
Yeah.
I have a solution for your ear hair problem.
yes, please.
Um there is a product available from that is specifically designed for trimming
Inner.
the inner, not outer. Oh no,
Outer I can manage. I
so
can
I
pluck
don't.
it with my own fingers,
What?
which is
Okay.
something
Wow.
girls really get turned on by when you do.
Yeah,
So
I'm
the
sure.
outer ear, Amit, is not that bad actually. That hair is it's like one cilia at a time. Literally you can pull them, or I can even cut that because I can see it clearly. But
Uh-huh.
this is just inside. There's a little tuft in. Oh, God, the women listening to this show are going to just vomit. Oh,
Oh,
my
women
own
have ear
wife.
hair too.
I showed it to my wife and she almost threw up. I said, "Will you be able to?" She's like, "Ah!" It's horrible. I wish I could show it to you. I don't know whether I can show it to you, but I don't know if you can see it, but it's there somewhere, and it's yucky.
Okay.
So now to take the scissors and go into that area,
Yeah, no,
firstly, it
that's dangerous, dude. I mean, like,
you got to be
Yeah,
a
you can't.
gladiator. You got to be one of those guys ready to die for your country. It's
yeah,
Don't even
human
try that though. That's
yeah. I
horrible.
wouldn't even
Yeah.
try
but
that.
desperation, majburi causes you to do all kinds of things in
Just chop
life.
off as much as you can pull, no? I mean, like, you must be able to pull some piece of it out.
No, no, it's very small. You don't
Uh,
grip it at all. But
Can't
it's
you
but
ask a makeup artist to do this? Like when you have do
Ivan,
you have makeup
he's
artists
got
at the
COVID.
show?
uh,
Oh damn.
No,
Oh,
that's not
okay.
funny, but he really does. No,
Oh.
he was incapable. He's more like a struggling actor who's stuck with makeup. Like sometimes you have these doctors who become vets because they don't want to be, or dentists. Not to be, that these are very good professions, please,
Yeah.
but I've heard stories.
but
They,
there might be, you know what might work? Women have these things like those eyebrow plucker type thingies. That basically it's like a tweezer type thing, right?
my wife is of Kachi ancestry. Don't mention eyebrows, Amit Doshi. And I
Okay.
hope nobody brings this back to haunt me. I can't even talk about that area. Okay, if you know your Kachi people, please understand. I don't know whether you have any ancestry like that because you're very close, I know. But eyebrows, it's a
Okay. But
Sindh and Kutch area, it's their thing.
s-
Haven't you noticed?
so again, and maybe without approaching Aisha,
Yeah.
you have the
Tweezers, like yeah,
opportunity
yeah.
to figure out where you can get like these tweezers from, right? Because that's like those are things which you can just like pull,
No,
right? I
but
mean, like you just grab a piece of the hair and then
it's too
just
minute.
if you can get your fingers on it to the point where you can feel it, how can you not be
Yeah,
able
I
to
can
pull it?
feel it. I can
Then how
feel
can
it.
you not be able to use
I
the
feel
tweezers to pull it?
I don't know. I'll try. I haven't thought of the tweezers, but I've lost confidence. So once blood came out from that area, I'm not a
Yeah.
very courageous man. So once there's
I
blood in my
understand that
ear, you know, which
there's
anyway
blood in.
sounds like Rhea when you tell anyone.
It
So
sounds
everybody's
like
like,
a
yes, it sounds like piles.
actually it
You-
sounds like an amazing song, "Blood in My Ear."
Blood in my ear. Yeah, Brian
Blood,
Adams.
yeah. I was thinking more
That's
YouTube,
just
but
all.
okay.
YouTube, huh? Oh, you're more hard rocker. Okay, fair enough. I was going soft. Because mine was a romantic thing, blood in my ear, pain and all that. Yours is more the powerful
Blood
pain
in
of
the ear.
blood in my ear. And it's not a very macho thing to discuss for three men having nothing to do during lockdown. But the fact of the matter is, I know people out there. Please, if you're out there, please write in and tell us. I mean, this is recorded, so whatever. But write in anyway, because I
Yeah.
want support on this and I want real
Hmm.
help. Because I think this is a huge issue which no one has tackled. Silvery, you won't feel it yet. You're too young.
Yeah.
I
Thankfully,
don't
yeah.
think it's really an issue. I don't remember all this in my 30s. This is the
You know,
last
it
3 4
depends on
years.
how hairy you are, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
I've been
Hmm.
dealing with outer ear hair issues
No, but
for
outer
a
ear
while.
hair is not that ugly and it can be removed even with an Anne French
Yeah,
crappy thing which some of the ladies in your house might have, which burns, but you can attach it and like a worm pull it out.
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that I've seen. I've seen
Huh.
the ladies do it MTV, no names.
Very
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, I didn't know
Yeah,
that you
because
could do that.
their
Hmm.
stylists and makeup artists were all hands on about all
Hmm.
these little things. Let's face it, women and men are the same except for that one.
Is there still Anne French is still a thing? Huh? I mean, like the last time I
There
remember
must be
seeing
other
that was in
brands.
school.
Anne French may have been retired and now, and maybe her
Yeah.
sister Julia French or something.
Did
I
you
don't know.
ever play pranks with Anne French hair removal cream?
Play. I
Pranks
had
on.
to get shaved from head to toe for Women's Day special with Saukar on the streets of Bangalore on those heady days of 2001,
Okay,
2, 3. So
So
that
what is this? What
it's
is this
very
Anne French
painful.
thing?
it
So
is
it's
damn
like a
Very
painful.
cream
painful.
that just
It's
removes
a
your hair.
yeah, it's a cream that removes
It
hair.
and it's not fun.
Mhm.
It's like and the
Ah.
areas where there's some areas where it just pains more. I can't even
Yeah.
explain why. And all men have hairy calves.
Yep.
Whatever our hair levels are, calves
Yeah.
are always hairy.
Yep.
Hmm.
So God,
So,
I screamed. That was 5:30 in the morning because it wanted 2 hours to clean both of us up before going on the streets. So it started at 5:30 in the morning, and all men were doing it. There was one
uh,
woman supervising, but freaking men were doing it. It was not even making it fun for me, and I'm ticklish. Please don't have this happen to you. And then you're
uh,
thinking about your career. You wanted to do Hamlet. You want to play the big roles. You want to do Hollywood, Bollywood. Be on West End or Broadway or wherever. But there's some depth
Yep.
and some profundity to your life and some sophistication and something to be proud of. It's not about the money. And then you're dressed like a woman with skirts, so our legs being the main thing, legs and arms to be seen, and then going everywhere and acting normal to see
so
how women are treated was the experiment that we tried. And now who's going to treat us like women? He's 6'3", okay, standing with his hand on his crotch like any Delhi boy while walking, okay, and I look like a young wrestler from Rawalpindi, ridiculous outfit from Surab Modi picture about the Greeks in India. Oh, I don't know, and we look horrible as women, both of us. I must tell you, really.
uh,
I don't know what gender. I know there's some 92 that have been identified, but we didn't make it. We didn't make it into any of them. But coming back to the whole thing, it's a very
yeah.
painful process. So, is if you want to empathize with any woman who does it, remember that they really invest in all this. I'm
So
not saying they have as much hair as us, but
so 16-year-olds, we were all like, first coming into like full beards, right? After graduating from, not graduating, passing out of school, right? 10th standard, went for a trip with a bunch of friends. And somebody brought Anne French cream with them and applied it to one dude's beard, like over here on the beard.
good
That
God,
Wow.
was not
he was
nice, man.
sleeping.
He was sleeping. And he
Wow.
was not just
So does it
sleeping. It was
burn?
we
Does it
were
like
16
burn?
years old, just coming out of school. So he was not just sleeping, he was dead drunk, right?
So get
Wow.
drunk
And
sleeping, so you had a lot of time to do it, to execute your
yes,
plans.
yes.
So you did only
And
one
So
side, is it?
yeah, basically one, no, not even one side. Like it was like from one side like a strip
Yeah.
down the middle of the beard, right? And so like you have like two side, you have like half a goatee and you have like these mutton chop sideburns and like this gap in the
yeah.
middle. It was hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, well, you
I'm
should.
glad.
Men
I'm
should
sorry,
try
I
it
don't know
once.
this. Does
Huh.
it burn or something? It's
Yeah, it
supposed to
burns
burn,
like
right?
It
crazy.
burns.
The
It
guy
burns.
woke up because it
Yeah.
was
Okay.
burning like mad.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
it burns and it stays. The pain stays. It's not
yeah,
a quick burn like a band-aid and then you're
yeah.
okay. It burns and it stays. And they keep telling you to be calm. Whenever people tell you to be calm, you should really be worried. That's the line people say when because they have no either idea what to say. It's like, okay, oh, that's a very dangerous animal. Be calm, be calm. But, oh, no chance.
that's a
That's true.
fun.
Actually, the term "be calm and move
Yeah,
on" is a World War II thing that British had
is
applied
it?
for, yeah,
Be
for their
Yeah, yeah. Be calm and
during
carry on.
the, what
Oh,
was
what I'm
that,
wearing?
Blitz, the Blitz,
What are you
right?
saying? I mean,
Yeah,
oh,
Yeah,
come
carry on,
on.
carry
What a
on.
yeah.
That's
coincidence
exactly
is
what it is.
that?
What are the
Brothers
odds?
and
What are
sisters,
the odds?
this is
Oh man.
karma.
Yeah, this is wow. This
Money
is
must come.
amazing.
That kawa was right. Money must come. Let me
Yes.
count.
Wow. But
Yeah.
yeah, so the story is that during the Blitz, that is the year-long raids that Germany carried out on London
Yeah,
and
yeah.
other cities of
Yeah.
London, of England.
1940. Yeah.
Yeah, 1940. This poster came about as a means of the British telling their people that guys just keep calm and carry on.
It works
Yeah.
well for lockdown as well,
It does. It kind
actually.
of does.
It does actually. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just go about
Absolutely
your
does.
shit. Go about your business. And not that everybody can do that, but yeah, it kind of does.
But I've always felt this. I get scared in aeroplanes. If a air hostess uses words like "Don't worry, be calm," I get scared. If they just don't say anything, I'm okay because that's more sense of this is normal. If they just body language doesn't change too much.
Yep.
But if they are looking around and they tell you, "Don't worry, be calm" with their hands or whatever, they don't normally talk to you because they'll all be tied up with the seat belts. But do you guys think? Does that affect you watching the
No,
body
so
language of those in charge?
that 100% does, but I think that you're right about words like calm, right? Keep calm. When somebody
Yeah.
tells you that, you're like, okay,
There's
that
no plan B. That's
no,
all you've got.
it's the opposite, right? It has the opposite. Whenever somebody starts a statement with me, let me be honest, you know they're
Yeah.
lying.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a real setup. Can I
yeah.
be honest? What can I be honest में मतलब बहनचोद 10 साल से
What
क्या
are the
बोल रहा
rest?
है?
What
Yeah.
are the rest of it
Yeah.
about? Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
20 years
Yeah.
of talking
Yeah,
lies, and now can I be honest?
yeah. To
To
tell you
tell
the
you your
truth.
no, to tell you your project sucks. It's
No,
always some critical analysis, nothing
no,
nice.
no, but to tell you the truth, right? That's another one
Yeah,
of those kinds
yeah.
of words, right? I mean, like, so those
To
are
tell
things
you the
that are
truth.
always kind of like, are you keeping in good health? You probably look like shit, which is why somebody is asking you, are you
Yeah,
keeping
yeah,
in good health, right?
yeah,
It's all of these are like opposite triggers in that sense.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's actually very insensitive if a person's deliberately doing it. It really is. It's because it's being mean. You are a slightly intelligent person has understood that you're being very insulting.
Yeah.
Sometimes just a guy saying MCBC is so much safer than this. This is that hidden layered insult. Yeah. Oops. All right. Shall we start with our
Let's do
so-called?
some
Yes. Sure. We
subjects,
have
some
some.
topics.
Yeah, we have some very interesting topics. The first one is hilarious from the get go. The heading of the article is "Toda Kutta Tommy." Gurugram man beats 6 neighbors for calling pet dog Kutta.
Hmm.
So
What
basically,
did,
what
what did
happened
you
is this:
say? What kutta, Tommy?
Wait, hold on.
Toda Kutta Tommy. So that's
Hold
like
on.
a
First, I think the first thing is
yeah.
that you've seen this meme, right? Toda kutta Tommy, mera kutta kutta. Have you never
Uh,
seen that song?
Oh, that's the it's a this thing.
It's
Okay, it's a
that
play
meme
on
thing
words of
now.
that.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
Toda kutta Tommy,
Yeah, I was
mara
wondering
kutta
whether
kutta.
it's
Sada Kutta
Sada
Kutta.
kutta kutta.
Yeah.
correct.
No.
Yeah, so
Uh,
it's like your dog Tommy, my dog is dog. Oh wow, what
Yeah.
is this?
yeah.
So basically, what happened is this guy's dog, apparently named Tommy, was being a
Who would
little
think
aggressive.
that they would name their dog Tommy in North India? I mean,
I
that's
think
so
that's
rare.
what. No, I think that's why this guy was angry in the first place because you're like, dude, it's such an easy name. If you guess the first dog name, you can come up with Tommy. You're still calling my dog dog. At least take some effort. So this guy's dog was being aggressive towards some people, and some of the neighbors came to him and started saying, "Ke, control your kutta, control your dog." And this guy was like, "Arey, mera kutta to Tommy hai," and started like actually fighting, physically fighting with rods and it says with rods and chappals, or with
Which is a
rods at
very
least,
strange
with
combination. We
these
discuss
Yeah.
offline
six.
Hamas and rockets, and then you think you mix up chappals and rods. That's
And
good
they were all
strategy, huh?
the other 6 people were all members of the same family. So it's basically beating up a family for
Yeah,
calling his
okay.
dog a
Now
dog.
let's just look at it properly. Firstly, understand as a dog owner, I understand you tend to get very defensive when people attack you about your dog.
Hmm.
Okay. First, it's like just imagine if you had your kid and someone looks at your kid, and there are kids called Tommy, and be like, Tommy's a very obnoxious kid in class. So immediately the parents' reaction is not good. It's just what we discussed. Not that we are amateur psychologists, but exactly what we discussed is how you approach a problem or
Right.
situation. You approach in a hostile way, the guy's going to get defensive. I'm not taking his side. He can't use rods and chappals. That's madness. But having said that, so that's the first part. Second part is let's understand the word kutta and why that's a problem. The Hindi language has been, for some reason, the way you use the word kutta as against doggy. Doggy is a sweet sort of way of calling an animal. Or when you see doggy, you have a softness to it. Kutta has always got these terrible connotations with it. If you look at Hindi films in the last 100 years, I just think that I understand that it's all
कुत्ते कमीने मैं
yeah they
तेरा
say it
खून पी
Yeah,
जाऊंगा.
it's
yeah.
yeah it's two different words. It's not translating at all for me. And yeah, I used to cringe in Hindi films when you have the kutta kamina, always the same
Right.
dialogue, always. I was like, why? I mean, they're the most beautiful animals in the world. Why don't you go for the kabutar or something? Why are you going for? Anyway, that apart with my prejudices. The second thing is we don't know what the catalyst actually is that happened in the conversation. Now, they are using the excuse of he went berserk when he said kutta, but maybe the more words were exchanged before that. Some threats were applied from the other side. So
This
I
is
would
in
like,
Gurgaon,
So
right?
yeah, where
yeah,
tempers
It
run high, I
is
accept that.
almost definitive that more than just Kutta and Tommy were the words
Of
sorry, it was in
exchanged.
course,
Gurugram. This was in Gurugram.
which
That's
is the
Gurgaon
old
only.
version of Gurgaon, you
Oh, it is it?
moron.
Okay, I
Yeah,
thought it was.
Gurugram is new Gurgaon.
If you read
Okay,
Like
my
the
bad.
epics and all, it's Gurugram.
Like Allahabad's new name is Prayasraj, right?
Yeah, Prayasraj. Yeah.
Yeah. So same way Gurgaon.
Who
Right?
doesn't use that when he's taking a cab to
Exactly.
Allahabad?
Yeah.
No? Yeah,
So
direct Prayasraj. Right.
so
Silvery,
there are
was
two
it a
lines from the
yeah?
article that are important, basically, as to understand what exactly happened. It says a brawl broke out between the owner and his neighbor Sudhir after he asked him to chain his violent dog. He accused the owner of letting his dog loose that runs after kids in the area to bite them. Soon an argument followed after Sudhir called him a kutta and agitated the owner.
Did he call the one sec? Did he call the owner a Kutta or did he call the
That's
dog a
what
Kutta?
the article says, called him a kutta, but it must have been the dog, but and not the owner, because otherwise, why are they writing this article? I imagine.
Again, it doesn't matter what the word is. No, it's the tone. If you're looking for a fight, I can call you
Yeah.
monkey. Monkey is a sweet word. Otherwise, I
Hmm.
mean, I just called you a moron, but I said with affection. There's no aggression, so you can't, But I can. It's a pointless argument as far as
But I mean, the word, you're right. The word Kutta is a hard word, right? In the sense that like, the pronunciation is hard, consonants and
in
stuff
our
like that.
consciousness.
But the question is though, in some ways, it's just a common noun, though, right? So I mean, like, but people do like. I mean, there's this whole song, right? Tada Kutta, whatever, Mara Kutta, whatever.
Yes,
Yeah,
but the
it's a
point the
kutta.
point is that from what the article is saying, what he's reading out, the only trigger is the fact that he did not say doggy to Mr. Tommy, but he
Oh.
called Mr. Tommy Kutta. If that alone is the issue, it's hilarious. And like you
No, no,
said,
no. That's no. I think they were already like arguing, "Ki, hey, why don't you just lock up your dog or whatever, tie him up?"
and
And
then
this guy like, "Hey,
in that
my dog
MCDC and all
wants
this
to
is
be
happening,
free."
I said, tu kutta hai and all that, which is what we're getting out of it now.
No,
So
what I understood when I read it, right, was that tere kutte ko band ke rakh, right? Instead of saying
Huh.
Tommy ko band ke rakh,
Tommy को बांध के रख, हाँ. I think
right?
so.
I
Yeah.
think that's what basically that's what I kind of garnered from the article. I might not be 100% right, but what I garnered was that he called the dog a kutta instead of calling the dog the name.
I can't believe that triggered it off alone. Just the use of Hindi
It
kutta
must be
versus
more.
dog. It has to be more. It
No,
just
but again, there's a full song, right? There's this song that's been created where this obviously is clearly a thing, right? Where you're not supposed to call a dog kutta, you're supposed to call the dog by name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a little preamble to that, which is, and like I said, as a dog owner, when they come and I have it all the time, exactly the same words: lock your
Oh,
dog up, or chain your dog, or leash your
Hmm.
dog, whatever the words in English.
oh.
And we get that all the time, and you tend to get defensive immediately
Hmm.
because it's especially when you know your dog is not aggressive. Now, I don't know in this case if the dog actually is aggressive. I still think it's unlikely. Because kids just run when they see dogs. Dogs
No,
chase
but
them, but there's no intent sometimes to attack.
again, dogs do take on owners' personalities, and this is an owner who decided to go and beat up 6 people. So
Yeah, that's the madness in him. But I'm saying initially, what started it, what triggered it off, I don't. I think they're using this because it's humorous for all of us.
yeah,
It
it
sounds
is.
really funny, but there's more to it. I mean, unless he's completely nuts, he can't just say, "You have dishonored Tommy. तुमने टॉमी को
Uh,
हिंदी शब्द से बुलाया, तो मैं तेरे को इतना मारूंगा कि गुड़गांव से तू पहुंच जाएगा पंजाब." But that's not exactly what happened. I'm sure there's much more.
Hmm.
oh,
So
I mean,
please go ahead. Yeah.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
The article goes on to say that this isn't the first time that a dog-related argument has happened
So that's
in
what. No, there's a
Gurgaon.
lot of water which has not been cleared under the bridge, and
No,
it's
but
Yeah.
he's talking about just dog-related arguments in
no,
Gurgaon, not these specific dog.
No, no, but like major fights also. Like so,
But then
he
there's Gurgaon and
goes on
there's
to say,
dogs, right? People
No,
see.
Baba, I think you're missing the point. I think there's a historical problem with the two families. It's like Kauravas and Pandavas in the same area almost.
No,
Haryana, isn't it?
that's not what the article says. The
no, no,
article
no,
is
not
then
between these guys. It's random
is
people.
referring
Other
to
people have
other
also.
Yeah.
dog fights.
Yeah.
But
So, for instance,
let
another
me talk for
story.
the dog people again. Everywhere there are dog haters, or what do you want to call them? Dog
Yeah.
disconnected people. Let's not use haters. Some are not
Exactly.
haters in that sense.
So to
But
that
so
point,
yeah.
But there are
the article. Sorry,
I,
The article goes
I'm
on to
just gonna. I just need to
yeah.
respond to that, right? There are
Yes, yes.
also people who are irrational about their dogs, who don't understand how there are
One
both
breeds
sides
the
here.
other. One breeds
Yeah,
the other. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've done it myself.
yeah.
Your blood rushes and all that because your ego gets involved, the male ego unnecessarily. When you come back and think about it, it's going to diffuse the situation in a minute just by behaving normally.
No,
But
I've been to places, right, where The thing that is changed, I feel like in the last few years, right, is that it is no longer okay to be uncomfortable around dogs, and if you are, people look at you like you're some sort of fucking freak.
Depends, yeah. I mean, there are enough places. Yeah. Like I just there was a master G who came from when I was shooting 99 to take my measurements. He came
Okay.
in and he said, "Kutta ko pakro," and I just get irritated.
Huh.
So I said, "Nahi." So then after a little argument, he left. So then the production called me and said, "What's the problem?" I said, "He wants me to tie the dog up. I'm not tying the dog up in his own house."
Right.
You know, which actually I not a biggie. I got to just put him in my mom's room for 5 minutes, and just
Yeah.
let the once you cool down. But your ego, if your ego reacts to it in a different way because you feel you're fighting for the oppressed. But this is the wrong battle. There is a time to fight for the oppressed, and there
Right.
are ways and to stand your ground. But this wasn't it. But so this, I'm just saying, this
Also,
Gurgaon
the
is much
tone
more
I think is
amplified
important.
than Malabar Hill.
Mm.
Let's face
Yeah,
it, right? So we are a very toned down version of getting into face of another person, and there, as you know, the
Yeah.
climate is such.
It
So
was probably a much more aggressive statement of how to put your dog down.
and there will be
yeah.
some history
Yeah.
between them. I'm sure they've had all kinds of
Oh,
neighbors.
100%. This is not a first
Neighbors
fight.
fight over only one thing, whatever that thing is. They just fight over that one thing. It goes on and on, festering like a cancer. Yeah.
That's right. Others, you add something before
Yeah.
I.
So the article goes on to say that this isn't the first time when fights have been reported over dogs in Gurugram. Earlier in March, a residential family of three in Gurugram was held hostage in their car after neighbors objected to the family's habit of feeding stray dogs. The incident occurred in Vatika 21 Housing Society complex in
So
Sector
this happens
83.
all over India.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we, the
exactly.
stray dog feeders, fighting the dog
Exactly.
haters who say your dogs are coming
Yeah.
because you feed them
Hmm.
and all that
Yeah.
thing. So and
Which is
here
insane.
mostly the stray dog feeders are the victims because they get beaten, pushed out, attacked, harassed, abused. Again, depends on which part of the country, rods or shoes and all that. I think is a country area geographically determined thing.
I'm a lot more sympathetic to stray dog feeders than I am, in some sense,
Of
to
course,
pet
it's
owners who are often obnoxious about this. I have some friends who just can't be around animals. They just can't. I mean, like they freak out. And I'm like, are you going to accommodate humans, or are you not going to, or are you going to prefer, are you going to, like, do you want these people at your place or not? Right? I mean, that's what it comes down to.
it's a
You
it's
can't expect them to be there and have them freaking out.
Yeah, but the thing is, we are also biased. So now, when it's your own friend,
Wow.
it's you're never going to disrespect that friend and say, "I won't tie up my dog," this and that. You
No, there
figure
are
it out.
people who, I have friends who
Not
do
with people,
that.
not with people they're close to. No, with people you're
They're
close to who
not
are
very,
paranoid. You deal with it in a different
yeah,
way, bro. Which just exposes us again, you know.
yeah.
But I totally empathize with the guy who says, "No, I don't want to tie up the dog." Also, because sometimes you're like, "Why?" It
Yeah,
just
but I mean, like, dude, the
it's like
thing is,
I
the dog friendliness in the world, not just in India, right? In the world is something that has changed over the last 20 years, 25 years. It was not like this. How many
I
people
was
did you know who had pets when we were younger as opposed to today? That number is multiples higher.
maybe I was dating a girl whose grandmother was extremely unattractive,
Hmm.
and every time I went to the house, I had to see her. Now I never told her to lock her up. I did want to, and I used to lose my appetite because she had this really strange thing coming out of her nose, which directly touched the upper lip and then went down towards the chin. But I didn't do it because it's her house and her grandmother, and I just said hello auntie and put my eyes away, and I
So
dreamt of something else.
I
What I'm
so
saying is, if I enter Amit Doshi's house, I should not be demanding things, whatever they are.
so
Because
here's the way this is what I come down, right?
because
Like
on the other hand, you would say, okay, you're not comfortable because if I'm not demanding, you'd be like, you can see whatever. You'd be like, Raju, don't worry. He won't do anything. Or I'll keep him with my mom. For you go in the
mm,
room, whatever. That's what people do in a civilized society. It's
yeah,
called compromise. But this both ways. Once ego takes over, all this crap happens. And
all
with
of
stray
this
dog
happens. It happens on both sides. Because
feeders,
you're right. Even the people who don't want the dogs around will be like, "Fuck it, I'm not going to their house. They have a dog, and
bro,
they
I
are
have
not
been
friendly."
obnoxious with that lady. I told you all about a month back when the lockdown just started. One
Oh,
lady, the dogs ran around nowhere next to her also, but she overreacted.
hmm,
And that I gave her a thing about racism and black people, and you don't like this, you don't like the tree, and you don't like that, and tell me what you like. And I was very obnoxious.
hmm,
So that again, later on, once you cool down, you realize it's unnecessary. All I had to say was, look, don't worry, they won't do anything in a nice way
yeah.
Yeah.
and probably diffuse the situation. But I chose to get aggressive because she was overreacting and that irritated me.
Hmm.
When they start doing that, I'm very difficult for me to react nicely. So I have to tell myself.
But
If
see, the thing
Maya's there, it's
is,
a little easier.
the question now then starts is that performative on their part or is that natural on their part? And if it's natural, we need to be
No,
somewhat
it's
sympathetic.
natural, but it's irrational. And so at some
Hmm,
point, you're an adult person, and what if I spoke to her nicely without being obnoxious? I could have got my point across also.
right.
As in, don't. just think about it for a second as a rational person, that no one is leaving their dogs around, running around free if they're going to be murderous, killer, villain man-eaters.
Right.
But
It's
there's
not
a
just that, though, right? I mean, like, it's something I see this in my family too, right? Because in my family we have people who are very uncomfortable around dogs, and then we have pet owners. We have both, like, in the extended family, and it's always a kind of like, there's always a stress around that kind of stuff. Now, as years have gone by, more and more there have become less and less people who are kind of not at all comfortable with animals around, right? Because again, there are numerous pet owners, so you get a little more
Yeah.
comfortable as years go on. But I mean, there is this natural, like, I
Yeah,
know that up until a few years ago, I had an aunt, right, who would freak out. She would see, like, she would just, like, she started
but it's like
hyperventilating and
racism, is
stuff
it
like
not?
that.
Because the offense actually is created by the person getting who's overreacting. Very often that's where it starts, honestly, because the dogs are not even interested in them. In the case, I don't know what the case is in the Haryana story,
Huh.
whether they actually attack the children or whatever. There's some base to that. The dog is aggressive or reared aggressively, we don't know, so I can't
Yeah.
answer for that. But I do know that very often here they're just not doing anything.
Yeah,
They just look at them. It is like racism. They look at them and they overreact. They
that's
pull the
true.
child from the other side of the road and all that,
But
and
see,
then you
it's
have,
not racism, it's speciesism.
yeah, it's, you know what I meant, like from the
Well, no, but I
family.
mean, like, I think that that's like that's an important distinction, right? Like, one of the things that I look at is, like, when I think about these kinds of issues, right? And I am very sympathetic to dog owners, and I've been around dogs a lot, so I don't really have an issue with dogs in that sense. Though I probably would not want to have a dog for myself. I don't have an issue with friends having them. I've come over to your house a bunch of times. I play
That's
with
neither
your
here nor
dogs.
there. We're talking about people who are reacting, not about
But
whether you can rear an animal or not.
no, no. But
So,
but what I'm trying to say is that the sense that you are not allowed to not like that you're not allowed to be uncomfortable around dogs. This is a really recent phenomenon. It really is, and for people who are 70 years old,
you can be
who,
uncomfortable. It's all relative. I understand totally if you just disconnected, you didn't have a chance, you're not, it's just how communities don't get along. But you can't overreact because that's an act of aggression. It's like passive aggression in the end. You go and do all that, like, it is a little too much. And there, that theater breeds more theater. And then I misbehave. And in Haryana, my cousin misbehaves even worse. And then you have all this. So, animal haters of the world who are disconnected, just try and look at the issue from the point of view where it's a little rational. Say you're not comfortable, and everybody's happy to help you. But when you have an aggression to your behavior, that breeds more aggression, and then we don't behave well. I go
what
back and
about
think about it, or if I talk to my wife or you guys on the podcast, and everybody says, "What did you do?" Then I do realize that I was an idiot. But at that point, male ego, which is the worst thing in the world, as you both know, it takes over. What are you going to do? That
yeah, I
grandmother
guess.
was horrible to look at. I really wanted to say something. I felt victimized. I couldn't eat for hours after that. You know, I don't. It's not like she wasn't a question of ugly. She was freakishly strange-looking person. Probably very nice lady, but I couldn't engage. I just couldn't. But I didn't scream and shout, and I didn't jump around which I wanted to do. You know, from the balcony onto the ground floor, onto my small Maruti car and out. Yeah. Not that the girl was worth it either. I mean, sure she'd say the same. But let's not digress. Uh,
All right.
Okay. After
Like,
20 minutes on dogs.
yeah.
on dogs, and
So
actually we just let the Gurugram story go out of the window.
Yes.
So we have to take a quick break. This is a world
yeah,
record for those who actually follow our show. This is the first time we've done one topic, and
yeah.
then I don't know.
We
I'm,
actually did two. Your
that's not a topic. That was just taken from the rant, and we just
okay,
kept on
like that.
talking.
Fair.
How
Okay,
dare
fair.
that
Yeah.
be a topic? And as topics go, we put aside a topic about Palestinians and Israelis going back to some sort of escalating violence, and instead went for the dog story. And I must say that seems to have been the right thing to do.
Yeah.
We'll take a break, and
Yeah.
in the break we have some announcements. Am I right?
Yes. This you can read the first one only.
Okay. Yes. Unfortunately, we don't have a special extra guest here who we can get to dance with us. But I'm a big believer in doing good, and I love it when I get rewarded for doing good. I mean, who doesn't? All we need to do is pay our credit card bills on the Cred app, and the rewards, ladies and gentlemen, the cashbacks, and so much more. It's like being part of an exclusive club, a feeling I've never really had. I think I've already said too much. Just download Cred. But if they ask you, you didn't hear it from me. This going out on our show forever, which stays there.
Yeah.
So I can't really deny it. Got to talk to the copywriter. It has to be a more, I would think, combined harmonious effort between him and me.
Okay, we
Amit, are
will.
you the copywriter?
No, I am not.
I am the copywriter actually.
Oh, okay.
Is this
There you
yours?
go.
Are you the copywriter?
Yeah. All those jokes about your daughter wanting iPhones and your
Oh,
wife
okay.
not marrying you.
Oh,
That's all me.
you've taken their basic and added your couple of lines, is it?
Exactly. Yes.
So you added the humor element. So you're not to be blamed. You're not to be blamed. The humor element is okay. I'm just thinking, yeah, because whenever you have to talk ads,
Ah,
we go to this fake voice. I'm a big believer. Well, if you were to actually do it, you'd be like, guys, I'm a big believer, and
yeah,
it would flow more real. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know,
it
but I do
is.
like.
No, it's
I,
a. Yes, right.
No, I like that style still, that put on style of because it's also going to fade now
No, but
slowly.
it's there. I think it's very much a classic kind of like it's the announcer voice, right?
The announcer voice. And you tell me, Amit,
Yeah.
when you listen to an ad about underwear,
Hmm.
but the gravity in the voice that ends it and says, soft, durable, lasts forever, available in all sizes. And you're thinking, he's talking about underwear. This is not Moses giving a sermon.
But it is.
But it's isn't that there's a sense of comedy there which is
Yeah.
just really high for me. I
I,
love it.
I love announcer voice, right? I mean,
I
like
love.
the guy who does all the movie trailers in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a world where this is happening.
James Earl
Correct.
Jones?
No, it's not James Earl Jones. It's this
Yeah.
famous guy. I think he's
Yeah.
also WWE
Yeah.
main
But he's got
announcer.
that rasp in the voice, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. In a
Where
world.
this is happening.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Where
love
all
that
this is
National
happening.
Geographic guy. Who goes, what happened next?
National
Can you
Geographic.
tell us? They got this show, What Happened Next? Me and the daughter watch
Okay.
that a lot. And we watch it and we all do the voiceover with him. So supposing so a car is on a precipice, right? And then
What
they'll freeze
happened
the
next?
they'll freeze the frame and then they'll give you 4 options. It'll be like,
Yeah.
you tell me what happened next.
Interesting.
A, they
Nice.
go over the precipice. B, they stay where they are. C, somebody comes to save them. D, there's no one in the car.
This
What
sounds like a
happened?
show I'll enjoy. I should actually
I
try this.
love it, and we can you
It's
imagine the
on
mesmerizing?
Hotstar.
It's on I used to watch it on TV, not on.
Okay.
Now
No,
I
I
haven't
think
watched
Nat
it.
Geo stuff's on Hotstar. So okay.
Yeah, we'll have to check.
Yeah.
It's called What Happens Next, I think,
I will
and
find
we
it.
would do the voiceover because the thing will come. You can read out the options, right? So we do it
Wow.
all together, and then me and her would irritate the whole family at dinner now because we keep talking like that. I'll have the chapati. I'll have the chawal. Imagine if you're the United Nations saying India is the largest democracy.
No, that definitely sounds right up my alley. I've been watching quite a bit of like reality crap in the last couple of weeks.
Oh.
So I've got a wow. These are not
Don't
sponsored.
call Cyrus's show crap, yeah.
No, not Cyrus, not Cyrus's show.
Just joking. Just joking. Sorry.
Yeah, from
So-
what angle is it reality? Tell me which person was being real. Tell me one, except me to some extent.
So I got a subscription to Discovery Plus, basically the platform that advertised everywhere but on IVM. And
Why didn't they advertise on IBM?
I don't know. We'll find out. But
And then you would have got a subscription for them.
well, I
It's
got a
like you-
subscription from them anyway, no?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What
Uh,
happened next?
No. So they've got a bunch of really cool shows on there, right? Like so they have a bunch of history shows which are really interesting. They have this show like it's a hidden camera show. So maybe you would appreciate this as our most prominent hidden camera expert in the country.
Pioneer. There are
Pioneer,
far more
correct.
prominent people with more malice in their hearts.
Okay.
That to say.
No, but well, it's a hidden camera show which basically looks at psychological aspects of why things are funny. And it was quite fun. I'll send you the link. You can give
Sorry,
it a
what's
look.
it called again?
Damn it! It'll take a while for me to figure that
I mean,
out.
you know that
it's fine.
theory,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That when you're in a collective, you tend to laugh much more.
Yep, of course.
Yeah.
You laugh out loud. The whole problem is
Yep.
you're 12 or 10 people together. So it's very different dynamics. You see the same show in a theater, Antariksh and his friends, and you, me, and whatever, and everybody laughs because it becomes like it's another beast
Yep.
in that room.
Yep.
The live
Yeah,
show
yeah.
or a comedian. And then when you sit at home, just you and the wife, or maybe you alone, you don't laugh out loud at
Absolutely,
exactly the
yeah.
same thing or the same
Exactly.
performer. That's
It's called Outrageous Acts of Psych.
wow.
Okay, wow.
Outrageous
Uh,
acts of psych.
Yeah, it was
What
really
happened
funny.
next?
But this was a interesting. It was fun to watch, right? Because I mean, like again, you're looking at like all of this from. and you see it and you kind of like, oh, this is a psychological trick that's being played on them, which is making them react like this. So it's fun. I
So
definitely
you
was into it.
Yeah.
manipulate it in such a way to prove your experimental data that you had in mind.
Well,
You try
not
to.
really, right? So like, so I'll give you an example, right? Like, so one of the things they did, right, was they wanted to see how paranoia develops in people, and they wanted to demonstrate that, right? Or not paranoia, but rather how, like, discomfort leads to anger because of something you're this, right? And so what they
Paranoia, like when they announced lockdown and
yeah.
you all run to the provision store. We have the example. Yeah.
So what they were talking about over here was like there was this thing where a guy is going into a store and he is acting as if he is what do you call it? As if the person on the other end of the call is somebody who is about to want to pick a fight with him, and then he's like, "Yeah, no, no, I'm right over here in this store. Why don't you come and do? Well, I'll start fighting with you, right? Just come to the store." And then he starts describing himself, and he'll go like, "Yeah, I'm standing over here. I'm in a red T-shirt. I'm wearing glasses. I have all my hair." I'm describing Cyrus instead of myself, but like the idea being that you're describing the person right next to you, right? Basically how those people react to this guy,
Oh,
right? And so
nice.
they're basically trying to figure out, like, they're picking these different psychological pegs on that
And
basis.
100% they're not in the know.
They're not in the know. They're not, because then they tell them about it in the course of the show itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that they don't know is also kind of
We
explored.
should do a podcast like that. We start talking to someone and tell they have no idea it's a podcast. How do we do that?
I don't know.
I think it'll have to be live. It can't be over Zoom
Yeah, it cannot
because
be over
over
Zoom.
It can't
Zoom.
be over Zoom,
Yeah.
but when life is normal,
Yeah.
you can, set it
You
up.
can
You're in a
do
car with
a
someone and you put it on, boom.
yeah.
But
You
it
can
You
goes
can,
do
you can do it
live.
like in like one of those taxi driver things, right? You know that
But they
taxi
can sue
show,
you.
the
They can
taxi
sue
quiz
you.
show. I mean,
You mean
yeah,
you mean
and
you
you
mean
have to
the
ask them
fake
for permission, right?
the fake TV on the
No,
porn
no, not
sites?
fake taxi. No, 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 no. Talk about the
Bro,
taxi
give me
quiz
five.
show.
We watch the same stuff,
what?
huh? Cinema wise.
No, no. I'm talking about
Mom's
the taxi
watching.
quiz show.
Mom's watching. You have to hide
No, you guys know
because
that
you're.
quiz taxi show, right? You get into this random cab. Turns out it's a quiz taxi.
Can we go back
Where
to taxi porn? What the hell are you guys talking about?
No, no, we've gone from
wait, what?
there to it's similar. So he's saying that it's a similar show, though, except there's no porn. You get picked up, or you get into a cab, and
Okay.
you're in the middle of a show. The
Yeah,
show is
Oh,
the cab, and you
yeah.
participate in it. But it's a
that,
fun show.
that could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, Amit, you don't know about this taxi porn thing?
How am I supposed to? No, I
Amit, you
don't know about
spend too
taxi
much
porn.
time on tech without actually looking at what tech gives you. This is the bloody problem. Your generation.
Like, there's a genre of taxi porn. Like, seriously?
Yeah, it's called fake
Amit
taxi.
Doshi.
It's a taxi driver who gets
I'm
lucky with all
ashamed.
these hot women who are
You're
in
a
his cab.
Valkeshwar boy. I'm ashamed. You're the only one in the whole of Valkeshwar who hasn't seen it. It's a huge genre, boss. Where
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fake, it's
And
called
it's
fake
not just
taxi.
fake taxi. It's fake taxi, fake auditions,
Yeah.
fake
Fake casting, it's called.
casting and
Yeah.
all. Yeah, all that stuff. There's like a whole fake
He
thing.
and I do our homework. We don't just
Okay.
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fake taxi porn is exactly the one where you want a voiceover saying, "What happened next?" Because she enters the cab and then boom. And it's always about money, huh? In the sense that she has no money. That's the reason why they get at it, obviously.
That's
So
obviously
she has
yes,
less
obviously,
money
yes.
and things like
Or
that.
either that, or she has a little time to kill before her next engagement, or
And
whatever. Yeah.
so they really thought it through. All
Yeah,
the different
exactly.
plot
And
lines.
you guys have
Exactly.
also really paid attention to the plot lines in porn.
Yes, yes.
No, I'd like to be secular when it comes to art. You should not say, "Oh, this is terrible," and look down on it. Check it out. And the lighting in some of these films is spectacular. Enter Maya. There goes the conversation. So I don't think we can do the tech one. We'll save that for another day because
Let's
he wants
talk
to
about
rant.
it. Yes,
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 sure,
yes.
sure.
What could you add? In my mom's thing, I think we did one question about if Amit and I were joint
Yes,
PM.
yes. I want
So
to go
I
back to that
forgot to
also.
say
Correct.
one thing. The one
Yep.
thing he would do is
Should I
definitely
just ask
Apple
the question again?
products. Yep. Oh, go ahead. But I have
Yep.
just okay.
Yeah. So this question had come in from Sushil Maharana. I had already asked this in the Mother's Day special episode.
Okay.
The question is, AMA question: if Amit and Cyrus were given an opportunity to be co-PMs of our country, co-prime ministers of our country, what would be the two most important decisions taken by them to save our country from COVID and economic crisis?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I just like to talk shit, man. I don't have any solutions.
No, I solved
Cyrus,
everything
you
for
say.
both of
Okay,
us.
yeah, there you go.
I did a huge vaccine mobilizing on a war footing with the army, navy, everybody involved, and from every small corner of India, village to urban cities and all that, everybody was vaccinated in 7 days.
I
But I
stand
thought,
behind that. I agree with
huh?
that.
Yeah, then of course I went crazy about how lockdown will be cancelled and you'll go back to work as fast as possible. So you'd probably find a middle path there. Then what I didn't say, which I know you would say, is that you would now finally deal with the other elephant in the room, Apple. So as Prime Minister, there's an ordinance passed that Apple products will be taxed out of. I mean, like, am I right?
Well, Apple products are already taxed
Yeah,
by Apple.
that's
They
true.
they charge you so much more than what they're worth.
Ooh, we gotta save this. See, we gotta get
Yeah.
a guy who's pro Apple because I'm not. My daughter is, but I mean, I don't want her to fight with Amit. Silverie, are you pro Apple?
Not really, man. No, I don't have
Do
So
any
me a
Apple
favor.
products.
In the next week, try and locate one guy, one of our stand-up comedians, one of our friends and family who come on the show. There must be
Who's
one
like
there who's
huge on
Apple.
Apple?
There's got to be
I
one
don't
Apple.
think stand-up comedians make enough money to be pro Apple.
They
That's
can
true.
get gifts,
That's true.
Baba.
Huh?
They can get gifts. We got to find someone from our
There may be, but
dossier.
I don't think that there are too many of them who make enough money to buy multiple Apple
No, in
products.
fairness, we need to have the opposing argument because otherwise, what happens is you just slaughter Apple. I don't know enough about anything, and I agree with you because it's always about cost to company, and that's where they sin. So you got, and I think Sylvie doesn't care enough about the topic. So you're
I
getting away with it. We need someone from the other side.
so let me just say this, right? Apple people talk all about their design and stuff like that. I read a 2,500 plus word 2,500 word article from an ex-Apple employee who was their head of design, who has written textbooks about design, who is
Hmm.
talking about how Apple has since the iPhone came out, so basically 2004 onwards, has completely lost the plot on design.
Amit Doshi, I'll tell you one thing. The word you use is X. The moment you use the word X, the prejudice is there. I
Huh.
mean, ex-employee talking about Coke, ex-employee talking about MTV, ex-employee talking about the
But
Congress Party. I mean, come on.
this is the guy who wrote Apple's design
Yes,
guidelines from the 1990s up
yes,
until iOS came out.
yes. But he
Hmm.
turns does a flip only after he's removed from the job or had a exit, which we don't know whether
I
it was
mean, that's when
unceremonious.
he's allowed to talk. No, before that he
Yeah.
I have
can't
an
talk.
Apple lover on my left here who will fight with you tooth and nail. She knows everything about the subject. But
Okay.
I don't want you to go through that because the repercussions from both sides will be on me. And I'm just a guy looking to get rid of hair in my ear. So, this is a big issue.
Should we do
Yeah,
one
let's do
more
one
Yeah.
more.
before
Yeah.
we have
Cyrus,
to end?
mic a little higher.
Yeah, and sorry. And one more thing 700th episode is coming up. I think we're about 690 odd at this point.
About 10 episodes away.
Yeah, 10 episodes away. So,
Yeah.
why don't we get 2 or 3 of these regular guys on if it's possible? The ones who
Sure.
write to us the most,
We can
like
try.
Kashin
Yep. Cool.
Shetty and a
Kashan
couple of
Shetty.
Yeah.
others.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Antariksh,
Yep.
put together a list of names.
I'll
Whoever
do
wants
this.
to write to Antariksh, I think
Yeah.
what Cyrus says at gmail.com.
Yeah, it'll
Yes.
be
Yeah.
fun.
Correct.
And we'll do a whole AMA, start to
Yep.
finish.
Cool.
All right, sorry. Quick
All right.
AMA?
Quick one. It says, "Hi Cyrus, Amit, Silverie, and Silverie. Enjoy listening to your show. It's entertaining and informative. I'm curious to know if any of your guests have ever refused to come on the podcast, presumably because they fear not being able to keep up with the banter or fear saying something politically incorrect that would hurt them later.
That's
Has
two
that ever
different
happened?
things.
Hmm.
Are you insinuating because of me politically incorrect? Because that's two different things.
No, them saying something politically incorrect.
That now, how can we answer? Because I don't think have we had any person who would be scared to
I don't
expose himself?
think
Uh-huh.
so. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, so we've been lucky. Most people have said yes. Most people haven't said, like, we've rarely gotten like a no, I'm
We've
not
not got too many
interested.
controversial
Yeah.
people who are under
Yeah.
a scanner or something.
Yeah.
Or political
So
parties, we don't have anyone. I'm
we
begging
haven't
them to
done
come.
much political stuff at all, right? I mean, like outside of Sanjay Jha and Shazia Ilmi that
Yeah.
did that live
But
episode. I
yeah,
think you did another episode with Sanjay as well
we did
sometime
another one
last
with
year.
Sanjay alone. Yeah.
But I think that might be it. I don't think we've done more
Yeah,
political
no.
than that.
We've asked Rahul Gandhi to come on. He refused.
He's refused.
We've asked anyone from the BJP to come on under the age of 30. They've refused.
They laughed in our faces.
Yeah, they just said, who? IVM?
Yeah.
What political party is this? India versus people. IVM. IVP there. Sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I don't think we've had too many refusals per se, right? Not for like
So
reasons.
I had in MTV, I had Amir Khan once. I know he's really nice. I hope if he hears this, don't disrespect to him. Where he told Anurag Rao, who was our talent managing head of programming, talent managing,
Yeah.
he said that Ken Maria or one of the girls, Malaika, whatever, do the Mangal Pandey interview, not Cyrus, because he's too. I don't want it to be a silly interview. So that's as far. Yeah, so that's true. So they were worried that Mangal Pandey, and I mean, that's the only film of his which didn't do well in those 4 5 year
Right,
period.
yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
Correct.
Mangal
bad
Pandey,
movie
the
though.
Rising. Remember how many jokes we did? I don't know if you guys remember
I do
the
remember.
poster and yeah.
But it wasn't a bad movie. It was a decent movie, huh?
It probably, as usual, the good movies never do well, and then
Yeah.
let's not discuss the ones that did. But that's
Yes.
the only thing I remember. I can't remember anyone else.
I can't honestly either, right? I mean, like, yeah.
And that was a fair enough reason because he wanted to project in a certain way, so it's not
So
even like bad.
on this show, like, I mean, like, we were very clear from day one that we don't want to do too much Bollywood stuff, right? And I think that those are the and we don't want to do politicians too much either, right? And those are, I think, the only two classes of people who take themselves so seriously that we'd have issues.
Yeah, and the PR person will be standing there over
Yeah.
your head and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like, most of the people who we're looking at bringing on are like, comedians, influencers, people who've got some sort of achievements in other fields of life. So most of them are always happy to
Basically,
come
they
and
have
talk.
less money, and hence they can come on our show.
We've had people with much money come on, but still,
And we wanted their money. So we've
yes, we do.
various entrapment. We've called them, we've put out them, we said only good things, and then nothing. Never heard from them again. Oh, really? Yeah, but I don't think. But it's a fair question. I don't think we'll be able to answer it also because people will make excuses you may not know. There are a few.
Yeah, no, that happens too, right? I mean, like, people definitely, I'm sure, make excuses, right?
Like during that terrible flood that we had, there's one girl whose name I won't mention,
Yeah.
and then she never returned. I don't know what upset her because we all struggled to get there. Then we did get there, and she was just irritated that no one was there to meet her. But it took
Yeah.
you and me 4 hours, if you remember, both ways,
Yeah.
etc.,
I remember
etc.
that.
And even Naveen, who was 2-3 hours from wherever the hell he lives.
No, but it's so there are excuses, right? I mean, like, oh, not convenient right now. Maybe let's catch up next week, next month. And sometimes those catch ups never happen, right? So I mean, like, that
Yeah.
does happen. But no, mostly people are nice. Everybody who has been on so far has been awesome. So there have been no complaints.
And if we ever become a $1 billion company, we will give a small little present to each one, like a Diwali sweets or something. So everyone will be well rewarded for being on our show.
Yes, for
Huh?
sure.
Maybe we can give the same basket. You give it and then they ask them to return it to the
Pass it
next
on.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
pass it on. Yeah. By the way, we're getting a sign from Silverie to end the show because he's under
Yeah.
pressure to start another one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. There are other recordings happening.
And the recordings.
Okay.
We went out. We're off schedule today. Okay, cool.
Okay. All right, then. We'll be back with more next week. Have a very pleasant weekend. I leave you with the voice that changed the world.
Oh, and Eid Mubarak, right?
Then next. Oh, yeah, we have to wish Eid Mubarak.
Oh, yeah, it is Eid,
It's
isn't it today?
Today and
Friday.
tomorrow, both. It's a
Yeah.
Okay.
depending.
So
Sighting of the moon. So
today
happy
and,
Eid to
today and yesterday.
today.
This is
And
going on Friday.
14th and 15th. Now, where's my calendar?
So
Oh,
this goes
calendar.
on. No, but I was told 13th and 14th.
Okay, let's not argue. Let's just wish everybody happy Eid.
Yes,
We have enough trouble not fighting over dates now.
that is true.
And let's hope Eid brings in a little bit of happiness to this country and world. I can't take this pandemic and lockdown anymore. I can't take it, Maya. Can't take it. Yeah, happy Eid. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.